Welcome, beloved soul, to this divine moment. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you're always giving and rarely receiving? Like you carry the world on your shoulders, showing up for everyone, being the strong one, the fixer, the listener, while quietly neglecting your own needs? Do you sometimes feel drained, but you keep pushing, telling yourself it's the right thing to do? So you're not alone. So many of us have been taught that loving others means constantly sacrificing ourselves. But what if that's not the full truth? What if God never intended for you to disappear in the process of helping everyone else shine? Imagine how different your life would feel if you gave yourself the same love, patience, and grace you offer so freely to others. What if honoring your own boundaries, resting without guilt, and speaking up for your needs was actually a part of your spiritual calling? What if putting yourself first, your health, your peace, your purpose, wasn't a sign of pride, but of divine alignment? Today, God wants to whisper something sacred to your tired heart. He sees your efforts, your tears, and your silent battles. He knows the weight you carry that no one else notices. And now, He wants to remind you of a holy truth. Putting yourself first is not selfish. It's part of His design for you. He didn't create you to burn out. He created you to flourish. And you can't pour from an empty cup. So before you serve the world again, pause. Breathe. Let Him pour into you. Keep listening, because in the message ahead, your soul will find permission to rest, to rise, and to reclaim the divine balance you were always meant to live. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Have you ever felt completely drained? Physically, emotionally, and spiritually, yet kept giving anyway? Maybe you've told yourself it's noble, even holy, to keep serving others while ignoring your own pain. But today, God is gently inviting you to shift your perspective. He's whispering something profound. You cannot pour from an empty cup. In Mark 12 verse 31, Jesus said, "Love your neighbor as yourself." Pause and reflect on that. He did not say instead of yourself. He didn't command you to neglect your own soul in the name of service. In fact, hidden in this verse is a divine balance. Your love for others should flow from the love you first show yourself. But what happens when you constantly give while receiving nothing? When you wake up tired and go to bed depleted? That is not humility, it is slow spiritual starvation. You were never called to martyr your well-being in silence. That's not what obedience looks like. True obedience includes honoring the vessel God created, you. God gave you a body, a heart, a purpose, not to be ignored, but to be cared for, cherished, and filled. He wants you to overflow with peace, love, and strength, not just survive the day. And when your cup overflows, then you can give generously, without resentment, without burnout, without losing yourself. You see, self-care is not selfish. It's sacred. It's stewardship. Every time you pause to rest, nourish your spirit, set boundaries, or protect your peace, you're not stepping away from your calling. You're stepping deeper into it. You're saying, "Lord, I trust you enough to care for what you've created." So, dear child, choose to fill your cup today. Rest, heal, receive. Let His love replenish you. Because only when you are full can you truly pour into others in the way He intended, from abundance, not exhaustion. Your guilt is not from me. Have you ever felt a heavy pang of guilt after saying no, taking a break, or prioritizing your own peace? That inner voice whispering, "You're being selfish," often feels loud and convincing. But here's a holy truth you need to hear today. That voice is not from God. It may sound righteous, even responsible, but it's not divine. God does not guilt His children. He gently guides them. When you choose to rest, to step away from the noise, or to draw healthy boundaries, heaven does not frown upon you. In fact, God Himself has shown us again and again that rest, restoration, and reflection are not weaknesses. They are part of His holy rhythm. In 1 Kings 19 verses 5 to 8, when Elijah was exhausted and overwhelmed, God didn't scold him for stopping. Instead, He sent an angel to tell him to rest and eat. God knew his spirit needed care, not condemnation. Jesus, too, often withdrew from the crowds. Luke 5 verse 16 tells us that He often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. If the Son of God needed quiet moments to reconnect and restore, how much more do we? And in Matthew 11 verse 28, Jesus openly invites us, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Notice he didn't say, "Come to me after you've done more, served more, or proven your worth." No, he welcomes us in our exhaustion, not because we've earned it, but because we are loved. Your worth is not determined by how much you give, serve, or sacrifice. It was established long before you could prove anything. Your value is sealed by God's love, unchanging, eternal, and never performance-based. So, the next time guilt tries to speak, pause and ask, is this the voice of love or the weight of false expectations? Beloved, rest in the truth. God delights in your well-being, not your burnout. And in his kingdom, peace is not selfish. It's sacred. Boundaries are holy. We often think of boundaries as barriers, walls that push people away or signs of selfishness. But in truth, boundaries are not just wise. They are sacred. They are a reflection of divine order, divine protection, and divine wisdom. If you've ever felt guilty for saying no, for protecting your peace, or for walking away from what drains your soul, then hear this clearly. God himself sets boundaries, and so should you. From the very beginning, God modeled what it means to establish healthy limits. In Genesis 1 verse 4, he separated light from darkness, showing that even beauty needs definition. In Job 38 verse 11, he declared to the oceans, "This far you may come and no farther. Here is where your proud waves halt." If the creator of the universe sees value in setting limits for creation, how much more should we honor our own sacred space? Even Jesus, in his compassion and power, did not say yes to everything. In John 6 verse 15, when the crowd tried to make him king by force, he withdrew. He didn't surrender to their expectations. He stood firm in his mission. This wasn't rebellion. It was divine clarity. Sometimes saying no is the holiest thing you can do. When you create space between what is healthy and what is harmful, you're not being harsh, you're walking in wisdom. You are recognizing that your heart, your time, your energy are gifts to be stewarded, not sacrificed at the altar of people-pleasing. Peace is not a luxury. It's a priority. God placed his spirit within you, and that spirit leads with clarity, not chaos. Every time you protect your peace, guard your purpose, or choose quiet over pressure, you are reflecting his nature. So don't apologize for the lines you draw in love. Boundaries are not just wise, they are holy. They make room for you to thrive, to hear God more clearly, and to walk in the freedom you were always meant for. This is your divine assignment. You were not placed on this earth by accident. You carry something sacred, something heaven-ordained. As Jesus declared in Matthew 5 verse 14, "You are the light of the world." But what we often forget is that even a light needs oil to burn. A lamp cannot shine if it's empty, and neither can you. We are taught to give, serve, show up, and shine constantly. But no one tells us that running on empty is not holy. It's harmful. We think saying yes to everything is spiritual, but sometimes the holiest word you can speak is no. Not out of rebellion, but out of reverence for the divine assignment on your life. God didn't just call you to be light. He called you to remain lit. That means your rest is not laziness, it is ministry. Every time you pause to breathe, recharge, and listen, you're not stepping away from your calling, you're stepping deeper into it. You're allowing your heart to refill so your light can shine without flickering. And your self-care? That's not vanity, it's worship. When you care for the vessel God created, your mind, your body, your spirit, you are honoring his craftsmanship. You are declaring, "Lord, I value what you made." That's not weakness, it's wisdom. There is a version of you the world needs, the real you, not the overwhelmed, constantly tired, stretched too thin version, but the clear-minded, peace-filled, joyful you. And that version doesn't come from striving harder. It comes from stewarding your soul, from understanding that burning out is not your calling, burning bright is. So today, remember this, you are on assignment. But the only way to fulfill it is by staying full of grace, of truth, of rest, of God. Your no can be sacred. Your boundaries can be blessed. Your rest can be holy. Because when you are well, your light doesn't just shine. It transforms everything around you. That is your divine assignment. And the world is waiting. Your next steps. Take a deep breath, beloved. Feel it fully. Let the tension in your shoulders ease, if only for a moment. That exhaustion you've been carrying like a silent weight, it matters to God. He sees it. Not just your busyness, but the weariness in your soul, the kind that no one else notices. And He's not asking you to push through it. He's inviting you to pause and listen. This is not the voice of guilt. This is the voice of grace. You don't have to prove your worth through performance. God isn't measuring your value by your productivity. He delights in your wholeness, not your hustle. If you've been running on empty, constantly giving and rarely receiving, this is your gentle nudge to stop, just for a moment, and come home to yourself. And to Him. Your next steps don't need to be dramatic. Start small. Set one boundary this week. Just one. Maybe it's turning off your phone at a certain hour, saying no to something that drains you, or carving out time to simply sit in stillness. That one act is not selfish. It's sacred. It's a declaration that your soul is worth protecting. And rest is not a luxury. It's a commandment. The Sabbath was made for man, Jesus said, not to restrict us, but to restore us. God ordained rest as a rhythm, a gift, a divine pause in a demanding world. When you rest, you honor the design He created for you. So rest boldly. Rest without guilt. Rest as an act of trust. Here's what your Father wants you to know most. He is not disappointed when you choose yourself. In fact, He's proud. Because when you care for your soul, you reflect His heart. You embody His wisdom, and you position yourself to shine the way only you can. So take your next step, not in pressure, but in peace. God is with you in every breath, every boundary, every quiet moment of reclaiming yourself. And He's smiling. My beloved child, I see you. Not just the version you show to the world, but the real you. The one who keeps smiling even when your soul is weary. The one who quietly carries burdens, prays in silence, and keeps going even when you're running on empty. I want you to know something deep today. You are not an afterthought. You are my masterpiece. Ephesians 2 verse 10, you were not created to merely survive. You were crafted with purpose, intention, and love. Every breath you take, every dream in your heart, every tear you've cried, I've held them all. But I also want to remind you of this. I never asked you to run without rest. Even when I created the heavens and the earth, I paused. I rested, and I called it holy. Why then do you think rest is something you must earn? My child, your rest is not weakness, it's worship. You don't have to carry it all. You don't have to earn my love. You already have it. Completely, freely, forever. So today, let me fill your cup. Release the guilt. Breathe deeply. Let the world wait for a moment, because your soul is sacred, and it needs tending too. When you care for yourself, you honor the life I've placed within you. And no, you're not falling behind. You are being restored. This is your permission to pause, to draw boundaries, to sleep, to heal. And when you do, know this. I'm not disappointed. I'm delighted. Because every time you choose to rest in me, you make room for me to work more deeply within you. If this message speaks to your heart, don't leave quietly. Like, comment, and share this with someone else who needs to hear it today. Comment, fill my cup, if you're ready to receive more of what I have for you. Because my child, I'm just getting started, and there's more where that came from. With all my love, your Heavenly Father.